All right, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today, we're answering questions and comments. There are still a ton of really good ski deals out there. I think that they're dwindling, the sizes are getting more random, but I'm gonna try to help as many of you guys as I can and answer your questions. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. As always, I'm gonna try to prioritize channel members and Patreons. We just opened our Patreon program, so I'm gonna try to prioritize names I recognize from that and go through the list. But as always, more than anything, I just wanna help as many people as I can. Whether or not they're members, Patreons, or whatever, I try to prioritize it, but I think that I want everyone to have access to some level of help. So let's just jump into those questions now. The first one made me laugh. Calvin Miner 4365 says, for the last year, I thought Bogus Basin was a stand-in for your local ski resort's real name to keep your location anonymous, like a John Doe. It's blowing my mind right now that Bogus Basin is a real place. That is funny, because like, it's a bogus basin. It looks like a fake name. No, Bogus Basin is a very real mountain. It's just outside of Boise. Bogus Basin is one of the most slept on ski hills out there. Is it as big as some of the Utah ski resorts? No. Is it getting as much snow as some of the ski resorts in McCall? No. Does it have the grooming and the fancy ski lodges that Sun Valley has? No. But it has accessibility. It is so easy to get from Boise to there. It's about a 45-minute drive up the hill. It is such good skiing. They are a non-profit, so we don't get ripped off by like the Epic or Icon passes year over year. We don't have a bunch of like paid parking or anything like that. They sell a set amount of passes so that they can accommodate everyone, and our prices are so reasonably priced. I always mess up the number, but I wanna say my season pass, which is like mountain biking, no blackouts, the full shebang. I even get like a little card that gives me discounts to a handful of local businesses. Is like, I wanna say around $549. I always mess this up. Last time I had to like put a little thing on the screen saying the right number, but it is so affordable. For my kids, it ranges from anywhere from like, depending on their age, from $30 to $160. We have a couple of lifts that are free, like the Magic Carpet for beginners is free. I am so grateful to have a nonprofit ski hill, and yes, it really is called Bogus Basin. Zach and I talk about this a lot. When we used to race in college, we raced up at Bogus Basin and trained there, and I don't think I fully appreciated how good Bogus is. Now, some of that has gotten better over the years. The grooming has gotten so much better. We used to have like spines because they didn't overlap when they did the cats. You know, there were definitely issues, but they just keep investing back into the mountain. We already have RFID. We got RFID. I went to Sun Valley last year. They don't even have RFID. Are you kidding me? $230 for a day ticket and I can't even have RFID? I went to France and my little Bogus Basin card, I was able to load my day ticket in France on my Bogus Basin pass. That's amazing. So I'm super grateful. It can get crowded on the weekends, you know, like any ski hill, but we have our front side, which is more for beginner and intermediates and advanced skiers. And then we have a back side. A lot of times, once you get to the back side, a lot of the crowds aren't over there and the mountain does a good job of kind of siphoning people in different directions. Sure, it can get crowded on a powder day on the backside, but for the most part, it never gets too unreasonable. Or one tip I do with my kids, if I'm taking them skiing on the weekend, because that's when they can ski, is I just go at like 1 p.m. When everybody's left, I see all these great parking spots, people are coming back down the hill. You know, the high-speed quads go so quick that most people don't last that long. So if you don't need first tracks, it's such a phenomenal mountain. I'm not paid by Bogus, I pay for my own ticket and pass. I have nothing but good things to say. It is such an amazing mountain. Maybe one day I'll make like a full video on it, reviewing it, because it is, you know, it's not the best, it's not the biggest, it's not the flashiest, but the affordability, the access, the community, the way that they invest back into the mountain, the way that they want it to be accessible. We have so many programs for beginners to try it out. In my opinion, Bogus Basin is everything right with the ski world. What would be the downside if I'm being fair? The mountain biking, I mean, it's like an extra 50 to 60 bucks built into my ski pass, but the mountain biking over the years, I don't know what's going on. It's like every time I go, I get unlucky and they're doing trail work or you'll get some washburn parts of the mountain biking. So they could probably improve that, but I'm not complaining. I'm just the skiing alone is so phenomenal that who cares, right? And you know, and I'm not the best mountain biker, so maybe some of it's that, maybe it's just my ability to get in the way. But yes, Bogus Basin is a very real place, and if you're ever traveling to Boise, which I guess almost nobody is, but you get a chance, go check out Bogus Basin. It's not gonna blow your socks off, it's not gonna be, oh, the Alps, it's not gonna be, oh, you know, snowbird, but for what it is phenomenal. And also, again, I'm talking about this mountain too much. This is one question, but when I first got here, like I said, I didn't always appreciate it. I spent a year coaching for the local race program, which I didn't, I could talk all day about that. That has its own issues. But what I really enjoyed was I was skiing, right when I was out of college, I had this job, and I was skiing with U14s, which are 12 to 13-year-old racers. And on a powder day, we go, okay, we're not gonna be able to sit a safe course. Let's just go ski in the trees and build out that skill set for balance and looking ahead and everything. And these kids, like locals, they knew where all of the good skiing was. Things I had never seen while I was racing or while I was just, kind of new to the area coming from Vermont. There is so many cool spots. There's so many cool lines you can set up. They showed me where all the good snow was. And then my mind was kind of completely opened up to the possibilities of Bogus Basin. There is so much more to it than meets the eye. And I am really grateful to have such a great ski area. So that's my rant and love letter to Bogus Basin. Thank you for commenting. I think it's so funny that it looked like a fake place. All right, one of our Patreons, Keith Kowalczyk. I'm sorry, I'm sure I messed up that name. But thank you for being a Patreon. I signed up for Patreon so Elliott could mess up my name. Sorry. If it makes you feel better, I do it for every ski brand too. Okay, anyway, they say, easy decision, keep up the great work. I have zero need for another pair of skis, but I still enjoy watching your takes. Agree, if you can get some Moment, 1-3P, J-Ski, Icelandic, etc. reviews, that would be great, but totally understand the logistical difficulty. That's the nice thing about the Patreon, is I can get a feel for that and I can use those funds. I wanna find a way to be really transparent with you guys about how much money collects and then when I'm using that money for a ski. And I wanna put, and the nice thing about Patreon is I can do surveys amongst the people who are supporting the channel and then allow you guys a vote for what I test. So, that's nice because you can put in your favorite Moment, 1-3P, whatever skis. There's no tie to anything. The only thing I have to be careful with some of the smaller brands, they pop up and then they go out of business. And I am nervous about recommending skis. There was that YT bike brand, for instance, that just went out of business and people now won't have a warranty coverage for their product. So, if it's really obscure, I wanna just make sure it doesn't go out of business. That was part of the hard thing about Peak skis is I like the skis, they were well made, but now people who saw that review and maybe bought a pair, they don't have warranty coverage for them. So that's my only hesitation, but all the ones you listed are established long-running brands that don't seem to be in any danger of going out of business. So I will absolutely take that into consideration and look at those skis and give people access to vote to it. So I also, just while I'm ranting, thank you everyone who donated to the Patreon. I really didn't expect that much support and, I was overwhelmed. I'm not gonna cry on camera again, but I was overwhelmed and really grateful for the support, so thank you. And all the nice comments that rolled in. I've always said this, but I don't care about how many subscribers I have. The community I have is so supportive and so kind, and it's been the wind underneath my wings, so to speak, for that, what is that, Celine Dion, Faith Hill song? Anyway, thank you for kind of giving me that momentum, and I will absolutely support that. The nice thing too about being independent is I can showcase skis like Meyer skis or these small independent brands that aren't gonna go to the ski magazine or whoever they're doing, they're not gonna pay for a review, and I can give everyone an equal platform. They just have to send the skis, I guess. So I know J skis I talk to, and then I think they just get busy and they kind of get wrapped up in other things. But I would love to review all of those brands. I think that having a level playing field for everyone is a really positive thing about this channel. Great comment, thank you so much, Keith. All right, YumLP2 commented on the Patreon. Thank you, YumLP2, for supporting us. My first and only Patreon donation, please review obscure ski brands. There is a hole in the market. Yeah, I agree. And that's been the cool thing too with being able to use funds for the skis. There are some obscure models from name brands or from popular brands that they don't always want to send me because they're worried that I'm going to be really critical of it. And the Salomon Depart is a really good example. Salomon didn't want to send me a Depart 1.0. I'm going to be able to give my honest opinion. It feels like it's marketing itself as a powder ski. I'm skeptical, but I can go and review that. And same for Meyer. They sent me the Bangtail, which is such a cool beer league race ski that I'm sure I have not seen any other review for it, at least that's come across my radar, and it's a cool ski. I was really excited to be able to talk about it. So yes, thank you for your support and for allowing me to be able to have a platform to do that. All right, Christopher Ailing wrote on the Patreon after donating. They said, I'm in from Europe. Would love to see that member support enable you to travel at least once per season to Europe to create content and let us know your opinion about our playground in the Alps. Yes, actually, it does help me with that. I actually do have a trip planned for France this winter. I paid for it out of pocket. A lot of what I do is I'll use extra support like this, or sometimes like we get Ko-Fi donations, and I just pool them up and use that. And then I also have like credit card points that I save up. This is an ad, and I didn't have a credit card till I was like 32, just because I didn't want to overspend. I'm really, really diligent with my spending. I grew up from not wealth, and I've always treated things like I used to keep $500 in my checking account when I was in my 20s, and I was like, that's zero. So I'm very like conservative with my spending, and but my friend Zach, who you've seen on the channel, he was like, dude, you got it. You're so responsible. Just pay off the credit card every day and use those points. And now I use my points to pay for my travel. Basically, my points rack up to about one flight each year. So I do have a trip planned to France in January. I was planning on meeting up with Black Crows. Black Crows has some weird stuff going on behind the scenes. I think they're still around. I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. It's such a big brand. But I know that they are just staffing has switched around a lot. And I reached out to them to just make sure that like, they, you know, because we had planned on me testing skis while I was there. I was gonna pay, I'm paying for everything, but they're just gonna like, we're gonna rendezvous and I was gonna test some Black Crow skis. I'm not sure if that's still happening. We'll see. But I am not booking my hotels yet. I'm waiting to see where things land because I may just try to go somewhere different. So if you have recommendations, I'm flying into Paris and then I'm gonna take a train. I was gonna take a train to Chamonix and kind of go via train to some other, you know, bucket list resorts, but that may change. So if you have any recommendations on things I should see, I'm trying really hard to avoid Switzerland because that stuff, for whatever reason, is really expensive versus France, where a lot of it, in my experience, you know, culture-wise and quality of life-wise is pretty similar. So I'm trying to avoid the more expensive areas, but let me know. There's a couple of like train rides I really want to do. There's the Glacier Express, which I know is kind of a tourist thing, but I would love to see. So yes, I am planning on doing a trip to Europe, and please let me know your recommendations, but I am definitely on a budget. All right, Art and Sukajian said, happy to join on Patreon again. I truly enjoy your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Again, I know like I'm not trying to just like read the positive comments, but it was really nice to read. Like, I think that one thing I've learned from like doing social media or being an influencer, which makes me want to gag, but one thing I've learned is like, it's easy for your brain to kind of lock in on negative comments because as somebody who likes to improve on things, I see that as like feedback on how I can get better. But what happens is those negative comments can carry more weight than the positive ones. And I'm so grateful for the positive comments. So I want to, you know, give them acknowledgement, give them my energy and say that it does help me a lot. It does help me feel good about the work that I'm doing. And, you know, I think it's easy to see numbers and they just feel like imaginary ghost numbers. Like, oh, you know, 5,000, 10,000 people viewed that video. Oh, they're just, you know, ghosts in the air. It's like, no, these are real people, and I really do appreciate your guys' positivity and support. All right, DJ Petro on the Patreon says, here in Tennessee, and I'm in. Keep up the good work, muscle clap emoji. Tennessee, and you ski. I would love to know the story behind that. That's so cool. I love seeing how committed people are. I love seeing comments like that. I would love to know the backstory behind that. Thank you, DJ, for the support, and from, you know, chiming in from Tennessee. All right. That's like when people say like, oh, you know, the skiing in southern Vermont's just not good enough. Or, oh, you know, Idaho, I've only got a little hill out of Pocatello, I couldn't possibly ski. Then you see someone from Tennessee, they're like, I will thrive in any environment and I will make it happen. You got, or, you know, that's one thing I love about like Lindsey Vaughn. She's from Buck Hill, Michigan. It's like, you know, those people are committed and those people are the salt of the earth. And you know, I think a lot of ski community, you read negative comments and, oh, you know, I'm from Wyoming, you Utah skis, you got soft hands. I think a lot of people who get elitist about their skiing could really learn a lot from people who are that committed, that where they're chiming in from Tennessee, they're coming in from Michigan. There's a lesson to be learned there about being grateful for skiing, because we're all, anyone who's getting their feet on snow is lucky, in my opinion. Thank you so much, DJ. All right, Henderson Hegg 17. This is a comment on a very old video, but I still want to help. So they say, I was looking at a Montec jacket, but if not, what jacket do you recommend? This is where I was talking about the issue with Steep and Montec and Dopesnow. Yeah, so my first comment was like, what is your budget? Because that really indicates what you're gonna be looking at and what's gonna be kind of the bang for your buck versus like, are you looking for the very best option? They said, I'm really looking for anything not $1,000. That's fair. That's also, that's very reasonable. But I also saw today the backcountry cottonwood jacket that looks pretty nice, if you've heard of it. I will have to check out Patagonia, the thanks. Okay. So, because I was saying like, you know, you can get a used Patagonia and they'll still repair it. So for under $1,000, you have so many options, especially if you shop in the off season, you can get some nice Arc'teryx, you can get a beautiful, you know, there's some really bang for your buck, nice Patagonia jackets. You know, I've got a whole like jacket comparison. For me, under $1,000, you know, personally, what I'm buying is usually the Mammut jacket, the Mammut Haljagat that I've talked about in a dozen videos. For me, it's just that perfect blend of like fit and quality of life features that most skiers want with, you know, the arm sleeve for your pocket, for the softer texture around your face, all these little things that add up to a better experience. But I think as long as you're in kind of these top contenders, and there's some brands I just haven't tried in a while, like Helly Hansen. I had a Helly Hansen jacket that I loved, but I don't want to like recommend it 20 years later on the off chance that it's not as nice. But you know, I know people who love their Helly Hansen jackets. At that price range, you have a ton of options. What I would do is go in the off season or get something that's gonna fit for what you need it to do. But my personal thing that I'm spending my own money on is the Mammut Haljagat. I just think it's that perfect blend of good quality material while also having like the quality of life features that you're looking for out of a nice ski jacket. I hope that helped. Thank you so much. I want to help everyone out, even on old videos, so thank you for writing in. All right, let's do a couple more. Possum Family Adventures writes in, just started learning about skis and truly love your videos. Thank you so much. It's a nice comment. I also want to give you some advice. If you are new to skiing, my best advice for somebody as they're progressing is remember that every single person you see on the hill had to be a beginner at some point, and nobody is watching you from the chair and really judging you. In fact, only bad skiers like will harass you about your skiing. Everybody has to be a beginner at some point. It's true for any skill or any hobby you're doing, surfing, snowboarding, you know, synchronized swimming, whatever. Everybody starts out. You aren't bad, you're just new. So keep that in mind. No one's judging you. Allow yourself to be new. That is the cool point of something, is when you're new, you are gonna learn more rapidly than any point in your ski career. So enjoy the progress, enjoy the fresh air, and just remember, anyone who is around you, if you feel self-conscious, they were in your shoes at one point or another. And I feel like once you relax that, once you aren't worried about being judged, that's when you can kind of learn, or it's the best environment for most people to learn in. But thank you for watching my videos. It means a ton to me. I've checked out some of yours. That was pretty cool. I really appreciate you leaving a nice comment. Thank you. Now the last comment I can't find. Maybe I'll be able to find it when I'm editing this, but it was essentially asking, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, which is the most versatile ski? It was Stockli Monroe AX, Stockli Monroe AR maybe? That one I'm not so sure of. Stockli Stormrider 88 or Stockli Stormrider 95. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I love my Monterey Rs. That is the best carving ski I've ever put on my feet. But versatility, it's definitely a bit of a specialized ski. It's definitely more focused on carving. If you're looking for the most versatile, it's probably a tie somewhere between the Stormrider 88 or the Stormrider 95. They changed the Stormrider 88 for this 2026. I don't remember if they changed the Stormrider 95, so I guess I've skied on the 2025 version. They're both phenomenal skis. They both have a wide range. I think that the new Stormrider 88, as far as skis that I've actually put on my feet, the 2026 Stormrider 88 is probably the most versatile. It's just easier to initiate. It's more forgiving with the timing. It's got a wide range of conditions that it's good in. I think that 88mm width is really versatile, especially for Idaho where there is some soft snow, but you're also carving. So, you know, you could pick which one depending on your conditions and depending on where you're taking it. But I would say probably out of that list, the Stormrider 88 is the most versatile. Monterey X gets pretty close too because it has those short radius turns. So if you're only going on like hard pack groomers, maybe that is more versatile in that scenario. But if you want like soft snow or some off-trail conditions, if I had to pick just one to have the widest range of abilities, it's probably that new 2026 Stormrider 88 for what it's worth. So an interesting question though, it made me kind of think and I wanted to share it. So anyway, that's the end of the video. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. As I said before, we have Patreon. Thank you so much to everyone who's supporting the channel and allowing me to remain independent. It means a ton to me. Everybody who watches, everybody who supports, but everybody just being here. I saw people who were like, oh, I'd love to, but like right now I'm doing this. Don't worry about it. I'm not shaming anyone who's not in the Patreon. I'm not shaming anyone who's not a channel member. I just wanted to kind of show my gratitude and go through those comments. But if you have a burning question, email me. I will try to help you. I get to points around Christmas where like there's more emails than I can like process, or you know, I've got my kids home from school break. I'm trying my best. If I didn't reply to your email, I'm not trying to ignore you on purpose. But if you have a question and you're not a channel member and you're just watching, you're welcome here. I'll try to help you out. Send me an email, I'll try to reply to it. I usually will say like, hey, if you're buying, here are my affiliate links. That's a way to support the channel where you don't have to spend any extra money, but I'm not trying to like sneak them in there. I'm just trying to do it in a way, if you're already shopping, here's what I would recommend. But you know, as far as like the brands go, it's the same percentage no matter what. So I'm just trying to do that as a way of keeping the channel running. But don't feel like if you're not a Patreon member, I don't want to help you. I want to help everyone as best I can. But logistically, I also want to say thank you by giving the Patreon people priority, but don't feel like I won't reply. Please reach out. I will try to help as many people as I can. Of course, as always, just thanks to you though for watching my videos. It's what has allowed me to have this kind of reach. It's what has allowed me to have a platform to test these skis, and I can't say thank you enough. I always very much appreciate it. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.